I never thought in a million years that I would ever see a true blue romantic comedy get mixed with a visceral, gory slasher movie. But hey, that's what we got now. So, with that being said, thank you for joining me today as I review Heart Eyes on this episode of Ringside Review. Welcome back to WWH. My name is Andrew Dreamer. So yeah, I was finally able to check out Heart Eyes. It has been about a week since I've seen it. I hope that the memory is still fresh enough for me to convey my thoughts properly. It's been a very stressful week and a very long week, and so I do apologize in advance if any of this seems kind of discombobulated or abnormal compared to what you're used to with any of my other reviews. So I just want to say thank you for bearing with me in that regard. Like I said, I'm going to do my best to get my thoughts out. So yeah, I finally got to check out Heart Eyes. If you watched my most anticipated films of 2025 ranking, this film was on that list. And I didn't really know what to expect going into it. I didn't really see any of the trailers or anything like that, and that's how I wanted to keep it. But I will say this, I had a lot of fun. Not a perfect movie by any stretch of the means. It had a lot of issues, and we'll touch on some of those later on, but I had a good time. I didn't expect to have this good of a time with it. I didn't expect to laugh as much as I did or even enjoy some of the things that I enjoyed. But I did. Like I said, it was just a fun experience, and that's what I look for most of the time these days. If I can go into a movie and just have a good time with it, then that's going to be good enough for me more often than not. The issues and the problems of a movie, I tend to not let those destroy my view of a movie as much as I used to. I don't like talking negative about movies. I understand and appreciate all of the hard work that goes into making one. So with that being said, I do try to find the positives in every movie that I watch. But this one, I didn't have to look very far to find those positives. We are getting ready to officially get started, but before we do that, be sure to body slam that subscribe button as hard as you possibly can so you never miss any of the hard-hitting, chill-inducing 5-star matches we have here at WWH. It is bell time though, so grab your popcorn and make your way to your seat. Let's head down to the ring for the plot. So Heart Eyes tells the story of a serial killer aptly named the Heart Eyes Killer who travels from town to town every year on Valentine's Day and commits several murders. Now that is the basic premise of the movie, but of course you have our other characters. You have the Mason Gooding's character and Olivia Holt's character. They do the romantic comedy meet cute. They bump heads when they bend down to pick something up. I mean, like, they go full bore with that romantic comedy side, and I think for the most part that they do mix those very well, and I'll touch on that again later. But that's essentially the basic plot of the movie. They get seen on Valentine's Day by this killer when they're out, even though they're not technically out together in that way. So the killer sees them, and the killer starts going after them. They're on the run for the whole movie, and they're just trying to survive, for lack of a better term. But that's kind of what I liked about it. It was a very simple premise. It was a very simple plot, but it worked. There wasn't a lot of, having to suspend belief or anything like that. I was just able to buy into a lot of that, even if it was sort of ridiculous, if that makes sense. Of course it was ridiculous. Romantic comedies are ridiculous. Slashers are ridiculous. But it was played in a way that just worked for me in that regard. And again, I'll touch on that more later. But again, that was basically the plot of the movie. And when I get into my positives and negatives, we'll kind of get into some more spoiler territory there. But that really is kind of just the basic gist of the plot here. So we're just going to go ahead and move on to the positives. And like I said, beware of spoilers going forward. I'm going to do my best to keep them light. But if you don't want this movie spoiled, then maybe don't watch the rest of this video or come back to it after you've seen the film. But like I said, it's been out for a little while now, so I imagine most people who are going to see it have already seen it. But my first positive for Heart Eyes is the cast. You know, you have Mason Gooding, you have Olivia Holt, you have Devon Sawa, you have Jordana Brewster. All of these are very talented people, and I think they all turn in a pretty good performance, especially Mason Gooding. He is my favorite character in the movie. I love the way that his mannerisms and all of his actions come across. It's very lighthearted and funny, and also very serious at the same time. And I buy into his character, and I really like it. He kind of comes across as this smug, uptight person at first, but that's kind of just his personality, and it's not really truly who he is. And that's something that Olivia Holt's character learns throughout the movie, and I enjoyed the way that that was portrayed throughout the entire film. There were also a lot of other funny moments. I laughed several times throughout the movie, and I did not expect to do that at all. Even in most horror comedies, I don't typically laugh a lot. That's just not who I am. I can find the humor in things without laughing. It takes a lot for me to audibly laugh, but I did with this film, and like I said, I just enjoyed this movie a lot. I had a lot of fun with it, and it was just a very fun experience in the theater. I had my popcorn, I had my drink, and I was laughing at some romantic comedy slasher. And it was a good day. That's all I can say about that part of it. There's one scene in particular that stuck out to me that I thought was absolutely hilarious. You have Mason Gooding and Olivia Holt. They're hiding out in this van at a drive-in theater, and they are having this very deep heart-to-heart conversation, kind of getting to know each other. They're on the run from the killer, but they're, having this moment to kind of just connect with each other. And while they're having this very serious conversation, the entire time you can hear this other couple just doing it in the back of the van. And it's just the noises and the sounds. And I love that type of stuff. I love when sound design is subtly used to enhance an overall scene. And that's exactly what they did. And they did it to perfection here. Now, there is also a kill that comes in this van with that couple in the back. I love the way that kill is shot. I love the gore in that kill, the effects of it. Probably my favorite kill in the entire movie, actually. That was very fun for me, too. And I will say, I do think that they mixed the two genres very well. The slasher side of it and the romantic comedy side of it. I think that they meshed those pretty well, where you had, very distinct parts of both. But then they intertwined in ways that, like I said, it just worked for me. And maybe it doesn't work for everybody, and I completely understand that. But like I said, it worked for me, so I had a lot of fun with that aspect of it, and I thought that they did a fantastic job mixing the two genres. I also really, really liked the overall design of the killer. I love the way the eyes looked. I liked the outfit that he was wearing. It was a very intimidating and pretty scary figure to have chasing you throughout this movie. So I give them kudos, and my hat is off to them for the design of this character. I really, really enjoyed that aspect of the film. But with that being said, let's go ahead and switch gears and move on to some of the negatives that I had with Hard Eyes. Like I said, it's not a perfect movie. A lot of issues. There were a lot of things that maybe didn't work. One, I think that there is a bit of a divide in the slasher and romantic comedy side of it. Like I said, it worked for me for the most part, but there was also just this divide between the two where I can see, a fan of romantic comedies coming into this movie, and I can see a fan of slasher movies coming into this movie, and they like those aspects of it and then absolutely despise the other ones. So there is always going to be that divide there, no matter what you do. It doesn't matter how well you mix the two. If somebody loves one side of it and hates the other, they're probably not going to enjoy this movie. So that's always going to be an issue with something like this. And it's Hard Eyes is no exception to that rule. I also have to be honest. I wanted more gore. I'm not saying it wasn't a gory movie. It was a gory movie, but maybe I'm just desensitized, and my thirst for the gore in a horror movie is just super high now. But I didn't really think that there was all that much gore. And maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong down in the comments, because I will gladly, take the L on that one. I'm like the Eagles who got the W. Sorry, I just had to throw that one in there. But yeah, I thought I wanted more gore out of it. I mean, maybe, again, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I missed some stuff. I don't know. But I just thought there was going to be more. I also think that Devon Sawa's character was underutilized a bit. They didn't really give him much to do throughout the film. And I could say the same for Jordana Brewster's character, but there was something else with her character that I'll touch on in a moment. But especially with Devon Sawa's character, I wanted to see him more. I wanted him to have more to do in the film. It was just kind of like he was there and then he was gone. You know, and if you switched him out with another actor, wouldn't have made a bit of difference. You could have removed his character completely and it would have had no bearing on the story whatsoever. So it was like they just brought Devon Sawa in, you know, just for name value because of the horror genre and, you know, Chucky and Final Destination and all that, which is fine. I understand why you do that. It brings eyes to your movie. So I get it. I just wish that they would have given him a little bit more to do. And touching back on Jordana Brewster's character, didn't care for the twist ending. There was actually a few twist endings, and the first one, they killed one of the killers. And yes, I said one of the killers because that's where the second twist comes in. They killed one of the killers, and they think it's over. So Jordana Brewster's character shows up to take Mason Gooding back to his hotel. Lo and behold, it's revealed that Jordana Brewster is one of the killers, and then there is another killer who we met very, very briefly in the police station earlier in the film. And I don't know, that twist and reveal just didn't work for me. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't anything spectacular, and I feel like that's what a lot of people look for these days. They want those big, hard-hitting twists and reveals, and we just didn't get that with this film. Again, it wasn't a huge issue that absolutely tanks the movie or anything like that. It didn't even come close to tanking the movie for me. I just thought that there was something a little bit better they could do. And especially with the motivations. I mean, their motivation for killing was the couple that kills together, and that's really all that there was to it. And that is just, again, I feel like there was more that they could have done with that, or something more clever or creative or even unique that would have worked just a little bit better. And it also kind of did seem like they have a possibility of making sequels for this movie. I don't think this movie needs a sequel. I can understand wanting to create a new franchise, but this movie worked well as a one-off for me, and I just don't think that they really need anything else. Overall, though, like I said, it was a very fun movie. I had a good time watching it. It's one that I probably will buy in the future. It's right up my alley. I enjoy slasher movies a lot, and I don't hate romantic comedies either. So it was really something that I looked forward to and I enjoyed a lot. And if you like both of those things, then you'll probably enjoy this to an extent as well. But that's going to wrap up this episode of Ringside Review. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about Heart Eyes. Did you like the romantic comedy side of it? Did you like the slasher side of it? Or did you think that they mixed very well? Or maybe they didn't mix very well. Just let me know your thoughts on the film overall. I really am curious because I can understand that there are a million different ways that you could come at this movie and give your thoughts on it. There really are so many different ways to look at it. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on any of the action here at WWH. Now that we've completed our review of Heart Eyes, check out my latest video, which you can check out now by clicking the link that is on your screen. And remember, in the squared circle of horror, there are no countouts for nightmares. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and this is Wrestling with Horror.